Brandon's out of here.
Yeah.
And we already lost Brandon. We just got started.
I tried to print something, and of course it's out of paper the one time that I actually need to use the printer.
Right on. So for everyone who's watching, I know that it says that it was scheduled for Friday. It's actually scheduled for right now. So anyway, welcome to Tactical Wisdom, and we are going to talk a little bit about a veterans charity that's very near and dear to my heart, in addition to the one that y'all already know about in Montana. There's a great local one called Veterans Connected out of Brighton, Michigan, and they do a fantastic job. Well, Livingston County, Michigan. It's more than just Brighton. It's all over. They do a fantastic job, and I got involved with them because they do a ruck every year, 8 Mile ruck. Let me try that again, where we remember local veterans who took their own lives, and it's really a somber moment, but it's a great time of camaraderie. And I got invited to it a couple of years ago by Chris Mogul, a reconnaissance Marine. He said, "Hey man, come check this thing out." I did it within the first year. The next year I bought another guy. Then the next year we bought some more guys. And you know what? It's just been a fantastic thing. And we want to keep it going. And we wanted to help spread the word about the good work they're doing here locally and how you can support them and maybe how you can come and join one of their events. Or if not, since we do have sort of a worldwide audience here, if you might want to donate to support them. So we have here Brandon and Brian, both members of the board there at Veterans Connected. So guys, take it away. Tell us a little bit about what you guys do.
Well, thank you, and we really appreciate you guys having us out. I've known Chris for many years. He's a mad recon Marine, and love him dearly. And Veterans Connected was founded based on the idea that 27% of the veterans nationwide don't qualify for any veteran services whatsoever. And you can be disqualified for a few different reasons. You didn't serve in time of war, you didn't get injured in line of duty, or you fall below the income level, which typically is around poverty level, and you wind up getting discarded. So we just did not want to leave any vet behind. And that's really how we got started. I was working with other veteran organizations, and it was like 6 people that got together and said, like in a typical military way, let's go fix the problem. And that was 2019. And since then, we've crossed God at our back, over $600,000 that we've given out to veterans. And you said Livingston County. Well, we've expanded. And that expansion is that we've actually helped veterans in other states. Our focus, our concentration is in Livingston County in Michigan. But there's many times that we've crossed the borders to be able to help people that need that. So, and one of the key points is we've got rid of the bureaucracy, where we can act in sometimes 72 hours or less. Nice. I remember one particular time we did it in less than 6 hours. We were able to get them because we get rid of the bureaucracy that happens that way. So Brandon came on, and he's just been a workhorse for us, and it's just, I don't know, maybe it's because we're both MPs. I don't know. Don't hate us for that.
Wait a minute, I was an MP. Are you serious right now?
Were you? Yeah.
We're the only veterans
awesome.
Other veterans don't like.
It is funny how that works.
I usually say that you either loved us or hated us, depending on when we were coming.
Exactly right. That's funny.
Yeah. Just to piggyback on what Brian was saying, basically, we fill the gap where veterans can get lost in the sauce. And, it's kind of that first responder, military, law enforcement ideal of, always having someone 6, right? And letting them know that they're not forgotten. And I think that's, for me anyways, I think that's very fulfilling. Being able to continue serving in a capacity of like-minded people looking to offer a hand up and, just let people know that they're still loved and they're still there, and they've got the companionship and the camaraderie, and everyone at their fingertips. A lot of people don't even realize the services that are available to them. So, in a lot of what we do, it could be, we're going to go over all kinds of stuff that we've accomplished in the past couple of years, but everything from simply offering resources can go a super long way with veterans that are in need. And the $600,000, you know, whether that's, you know, financially or in kind that we've been able to provide. I mean, we have an amazing support from the community, and people that are, you know, donating food or supplies or gift cards. You know, you go down the list, and we've got a long support Rolodex from people in the community and beyond. And it's just honestly something pretty awesome to be part of. You know, you see the lives that are changed and the lives that are impacted, being told, I just really didn't know that people cared anymore. You know, it goes a long way and keeps pushing to move forward and make some progress. And, you know, the things that we do, for us, a lot of times it's as easy enough as, you know, making a vote, gathering the information, going through the process, and you know, deciding on how to help, you know, but it really comes down to just that, you know, offering hope. And, you know, when people leave service, there's that disconnect where, you know, you're being told what to do, you're being told where to be, where to go, what time you need to be there. And so coming back to civilian life can be a pretty difficult transition for a lot of people. And, you know, you losing your sense of purpose, if your identity is in your purpose of serving in the military, can lead you down different paths. And that's kind of been the general cause. While we can't give people purpose, we can give them hope, and we can help them, you know, guide them along the way. So like I said, it's just been really cool to be part of in my short time so far.
You know, it was great at the charity dinner to see, like you just said, the breadth and depth of people who donated things to enable your fundraising that night, and to kind of make the event what it was, from Darren McCarty all the way on down to the local Applebee's, right? And all the different things that were out there and around. You guys are doing great work, and I just wanted to help spread the word a little bit. So that's kind of cool.
Well, like I said,
we
really appreciate the opportunity.
You know, a couple of things that really kind of make us different, and people ask that all the time, is one of those is that our officers, nobody on the board gets paid. You know, we're all volunteers. We all have day jobs. Well, one of them's retired, but we all kind of put in our sweat equity and our talents in different fashions. So we're always looking for other. You have to be a vet to be on the board. But the Barb, who we tried to get on here, but she runs her company. She's like our right arm, and she wrangles us. She's married to a vet. Her son-in-law just came back from Poland not too long ago. So she does a really phenomenal job. And we're always looking for people that want to pitch in. And it could be a multitude of different things. You know, we try to leverage our support, and Brandon led into that with companies. Like we had a roof done. It was like a $26,000 roof. And because of our leverage with other companies, we only paid like $2,200 out of our pocket. And we just got incredible companies that come alongside of us, or somebody will say, hey, our company has a giving program. Well, if your company's got a giving program, man, we'd love to be part of that. You know, they're always looking for things. And what we're finding is that a lot of them, they actually want to, you know, they want to see the results. And that's something really important. But, you know, one of the things I want to do is I want to put out to your listeners is if you have a celebrity that you know that has a heart for veterans, man, we have a larger demand than we have a bank account. And so we could use somebody that could help kick that to the next level. So
actually, I know quite a few celebrity veterans who might actually be willing to assist us with things. One is in the chat right now. Ron Moeller ran for the state senate in South Dakota, fantastic Air Force vet, and other government service vets. Wink, wink. We're not allowed to say that. But greetings to Ron on there. And we know some other great guys, Clay Martin, Braxton McCoy, authors who serve other vets. So we certainly might be able to work something out there. So
so with that, let's kind of get into a little bit. I'm going to kind of show you a little bit about kind of who we are, how we got started. I told you a little bit about how we got started. So let's kind of go into share my screen, if you will. I think this
you got to click it on your end, but yes.
All right. So you should be able to see where it says Veterans Connected. Am I right?
Yep.
All right. So we got started, like I said, 2019.
I'm not
And,
seeing your screen there.
we support veterans and their families through resources, events, prayer, full disclosure. We are a ministry, and God is, man, he has just blessed us beyond wildest expectations. Then you go through the Ruck. This is a picture of the Ruck. If you look at, I think that's Brandon right there. Could be, maybe.
You're not. It's not sharing on our end, so I don't know.
So what's that?
It's not sharing on our end, so.
Oh man! So you got to be technically advanced here. So
you click the present button, and then it should give you the option to share it.
All right. So cancel. Present. Present. Share screen.
While he's going on working on the screen share, one thing that I wanted to mention is the donations that we receive, they go a very long way. Whether it starts with a conversation and money is exchanged, all of that money goes through our hands right back in the community that we serve. I would say that that's one thing that I really, really love about organization is the transparency and the ability for us to do large projects or lots of work with limited funds. For all of these projects that we've done, whether it's, car repairs or it's, the roof, or we've got, we're going to talk about the Martin House, which is an incredible home makeover. But all of those things, materials, basic deals were made. People want to help. And I would just, like I said, that's one of the biggest blessings when he says that, God's at our back. I'm telling you what, he's paving the way too. He's in front of us. It's the things, some of the time, you just say, but God, this shouldn't have worked out, but God, and
right.
then just there's always a way with his will.
So hopefully, now am I sharing screen now?
Yep, you're all set now.
All right. So if you see in the lower right-hand corner, that's a shot of the Ruck. Can't remember what year that was. I think that was Grand River. That might have been our first year. We that was real interesting. The magic of that Ruck is that in between the miles, I mean, we have a mile, a marker goes up that talks about the veteran. The family comes in and tells the story. And then they tell the story about the aftermath that was left behind. The interesting thing about this year is that last year we did it. We're doing it again this year because civilian suicide is such a big problem that we're opening it up to civilians as well to help them heal and find a reason. And our mantra of this is that together we heal. And that's really,
I want to interject real quick on that one because last year y'all really, I'm going to be honest, you drew tears. So the first two stops were brothers who took their lives 33 days apart.
Yeah.
And you had mom at the second stop, and I got to tell you, a bunch of warrior tough guys there, and there was not a dry eye there, and everyone hugged mom before we left. So it's that important, right? That we understand it's not just, oh shucks, John died or Tom died. There's a whole chain of people that impacts who are left behind, who we need to love on and remember as fellow veterans. They're part of our family. So I thought that was just very well done.
Exactly. So that comes up, that's September 28th this year. We'll be in downtown Brighton, and Brandon and I will both be there. So next is kind of like our Super Bowl, if you will. We do an Adopt a Soldier program that every year it's well over a dozen families that we wind up adopting, and it really is the community that adopts them. We just kind of facilitate things, and then we put on a party for them as well. Santa's involved, and we're
bringing out the big guns. We got Santa coming in. All right,
let's go.
Yeah. So we do it in a way that gives them dignity and respect because we have the parents take the presents home. We don't deliver the presents, and so they participate in the process.
Right.
So now we got a couple car stories here. That the first one here, if you see the Grand Am in the upper left-hand corner, that was given away July 4th, 2020. There was a sales engineer who was working at Lowe's. He was walking back and forth to work because he didn't have a car. He had 2 tween daughters that were living in an apartment with him. And then 6 months after we gave him the vehicle, he had a $70,000 a year base pay job plus bonuses, and he bought himself a house and moved in. It was just amazing. The guy on the left-hand side, that story is just absolutely, still drives me absolutely nuts to hear what he did. He was working for an assisted living center, senior living center, and he got 11 veterans taken care of, and they needed to come up with some of the financing. So he actually sold his vehicles. He's a vet himself. He sold his vehicles to help get 11 veterans in, and when they did that, they wound up selling the assisted living facility, and he lost his job.
Oh, man.
We found out about it. We searched around, and the community stepped up again, and we got a vehicle at a great price. We had some work done on it. It was done pretty much at pro bono. Then we went and had new tires put on, and when we left Discount Tire, a plug for them, they were just phenomenal. They one of the workers actually paid for the tires when he found out what we were doing. It was an amazing story.
It is pretty amazing.
Now I'm going to have Brandon step in here and tell you about what happened with Martin. Here's a vet, and I'll turn it over to him.
Well, I mean, hey Brian, can we expand that slideshow just to make it a little bit bigger? Is that possible? Or it says play slideshow.
Oh, I'm sorry. If he clicks slideshow on there, it'll be bigger. It's got to be on
slideshow.
Yep. Go up to the top and click slideshow.
Here.
Yep. And click from current slide.
Boom, there you go. All right. So what you're looking at is a veteran family living in our community. And I'll be completely honest with you, this was my first time ever interacting with a hoarding situation. It was pretty wild. The veteran, or the guy, was great. Mr. Martin, he had a 27-year-old autistic son living with him, and this was their living situation. There was, 3 by 3 foot holes in the floor. As you can see, there is no flooring. And this is the way that they were currently living when we arrived on scene. It was wild to know that this was happening in our backyard. And the amount of effort, love, care, generosity, compassion, and just all-out effort that went into this project is something pretty awesome to be part of. We had Dan Rankin from Crossgang Carpentry there. He was phenomenal. A lot of the guys from the Warriors hockey team showed up. We had, I don't know how many volunteers, 41 volunteers in total. And it was a complete redo. We had to cut holes in the floor to make them square, replace the subfloor. We laid 1/2-inch plywood over the entire subfloor to stiffen everything up and secure it and level it. New flooring went down, painted the walls, fixed electrical. Even something as the refrigerators, all of the food, the spoiled stuff. It took 2 full 10-yard dumpsters out of that place.
Wow. One of the key points was, Brandon, remember, we only had 12 people signed up to help out the morning that we started.
That's one of those.
I was down that day because that was my mom's funeral. My mom died, and that day we started was my mom's funeral.
Yeah,
wow.
It's
and everyone just kind of poured together to come and help. I'll tell you, when you told this story at the charity dinner, my wife just bawled through the whole thing, and she's like, "I want to help these people." So pretty cool.
It was wild. Just to see, the kindness that poured out of them as the work was being done. The inside is one thing, but they also got a fully new roof out of it. The furnace was fixed. They were put up in a hotel for 3 days. What does it say? 317 logged hours of working on this thing. We had people in there at night painting so that it could be, dry during the day so that other crews could come in. And again, these crews, volunteers. And it's just, like I said, it's an outpour of love from the community that was willing to step up. We started with 12 volunteers, and ended up with 41. And as I was saying, it's kind of one of those, but God situations. Like it shouldn't have worked out, but here we are. And it got done. It's absolutely wild. Nearly $20,000 in material went into this, and we only paid $5,837.90. I mean, if that doesn't scream the ability to manage the money properly and work well with people in the community to get the job done, I mean, I don't know what does. I mean, that's literally just
you nailed it. But God, sometimes we look at a job and we're like, there's no way I can handle this.
Yeah.
God, we're going to do what we can, man, but we need you to help us out. And God's like, oh, you're going to do the work, but I'm going to help you. And that's
right.
where the volunteers come from. Absolutely.
That's right. And just the expression on their faces, that was the first time that Martin got to, little Martin, his name was Martin as well, got to sleep on a real bed. I mean, if you were to see what they were sleeping on and in the situations that they were living in, it's not even recognizable. It's not even the same home. And it gave him a new lease on life. I mean, it was awesome to be part of. Our biggest turnover to date, I would say.
That's awesome.
Yeah. What do you say, Brian?
Yeah, it was amazing to be part of something, have so many people in the community that got involved in that. And it's just, if you look at where we're at with the notable facts that we did, right now you have 44 veterans a day dying from suicide. It's 15 times the civilian
because
rate.
Everyone believes that number to be 22, and that number is grossly underreported.
And that was just 2019. It was 22, Joe.
Yeah.
In a short period of time, right? Yeah. The Veterans Administration in 2022 came out and they flat out said that they didn't know what they were doing. And they put $20 million on the table and decided they would give it away to people that were running apps. We know that doesn't work. Some key takeaways is every single veteran that we serve, we are their last hope. They have to be denied from normal service organizations before we get to them. Again, we gave out over $600,000 accounting, and we have real tangible results. And if you remember from the Ruck, we had 4 people that came and said, hey, we had plans to end our lives, and now we have a reason to live. We know we have a system that works because it just keeps working, and so much so that we have things like the Veterans Trust Fund and veteran services that are calling us when they have people that they can't help. And that just makes it a world of difference. I'm going to show you one. I'm going to stop here for a second, stop sharing for a second. And get out of here because I want to show you a little video. I'm going to go share again here in a second because this video is like, you have to see this. This is Ray Lynn. And Brandon, you were with us when we did this, right?
I'm not certain.
So this was a Vietnam veteran's granddaughter. He was obviously, he had impacted from Agent Orange. His son was impacted from imagine that, hereditary issues from chemical poisoning. And his granddaughter had cerebral palsy, which was linked to that. So when he did that, let's see if I can share the video here. We acted within 2 days. We were able to actually get a therapy bike. And let's see, Facebook. That's the one I want to share. And hopefully you can see a young lady there.
Here we go. I'm going to pop it in here real quick. There we go.
That's Ray Lynn. First time she'd ever been on a bike. She went out there. It was raining, and she was riding with her brothers and sisters. And she actually locked her legs up so her mom couldn't move her because she was having so much fun for the first time riding that bike with her brothers and sisters. And the insurance company said no. The Veterans Administration said no. And Veterans Connected said how.
That's pretty amazing.
Within just a couple of weeks, that bike was sitting in their garage. Within 2 days, we were already negotiating and purchasing the bike from the manufacturer at a steep discount because we told them the story. And it's just, that's what we do. That's who we are. That's what we do. So
So that's actually pretty cool. There is an offer in the chat for you. One of my buddies here, Hunch the Dirty Roofer. He's in the roofing business. He's finishing up a job in Durham, North Carolina, and you guys can have the unopened extra roofing. So we can figure out a way to get it, and we will, from Durham, North Carolina up there. We will make that happen.
I'm thinking a daisy chain handoff.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I know some folks. We might be able to do something with that. So that's pretty cool, and that's kind of what we were hoping would happen, right? We'd connect some folks, let them see what you're doing, and maybe they'd get on there. So, but I know this kind of guy Hunch is. He always does good stuff like that. But
a lot of and I consider myself a younger vet. I mean, I got out in the 80s, but I don't act like most of the guys that are in the 80s. Brandon can attest to that when I'm on a work site, when I'm not screwing something up. I'm a finance guy. What do you want? I mean, I get ribbed because I got Ryobi tools. I don't have the big boy tools yet, but we're an organization that does hands-on work. We're not an organization you're going to go and get $2 drinks. That's not happening. We're the kind of people that roll up the sleeves and go to work and get something done. And we're always going to say how, not how can we disqualify them? We're going to say, how can we get this job done? And Brandon and I were talking just the other day. And he says, man, he's like, let's figure it out.
Yeah, situations arise, and we're just constantly looking for solutions. A lot of veteran situations are circumstantial and different than others. And as we were talking the other day, we are so blessed to have the support from donors and sponsors and contributors. And we have an obligation with the money that they give us to do right by it. So we do our due diligence, we do our background checks, we make sure that their paperwork is valid and that they, essentially qualify. But it's always interesting, right, to see how we can make it work, especially after they've been told no so many times, and give them again that breath of fresh air and that resiliency for hope. There's so much that we could talk about, and we're already 30 minutes into this thing. It's absolutely wild.
Well, what I think is important is for everyone to realize is that there are wounds you can't see. Yeah. And you don't know what someone is struggling with. So like the amputee that you helped and completely redid their house. I know some people might say like, oh, well, why did they live that way? Dude literally had no way of not living that way, right? He was physically incapable of it, but he's not about to call up his buddies and tell them and ask them to come and help him. It takes someone going a little bit further with an individual and saying, hey, man, genuinely, I want to help you. How can I help you? And getting that person to open up to you that they need that help. I'm not ashamed to say that at one point my story wound up strapped to a bed in the VA hospital, and they weren't going to let me go because I was convinced that the problem wasn't me, that I could handle it all myself. And at one point, the decision was being made that maybe I shouldn't be here. But it took someone else saying, but hey, man, I'm not going to let you do that. I'm going to help you, and we're going to walk through, and we're going to fix every single thing that's going on for you to get you back from that place. And I just think it's important that people understand it's not that person's fault. They needed help, didn't know any other way until you knocked on their door or someone put you in touch with them. So if you know someone who's struggling, don't tell them to call a hotline. Don't tell them to go to a website. Pick up the phone yourself and call them, and then put them in touch with someone like Veterans Connected or another organization that can help them. It's so vital.
Yeah, one of the things we found that, at least I found, that is a way to kind of get people. And let's look at this. Us vets, we're used to being the ones that are boots on the ground, giving support, giving the help. That's a word you can't say to most vets. Do you need some help? No, I'm good. I don't need it. We had somebody just last week that I was on the phone with them three times just to get them to show up at one of our events, and they showed up at our event, and he said everybody loved me, man. He says I couldn't believe it. I said, yeah, we get it. So what we do is we say, hey, look, when you were in, did you ever have like a Chinook or a Black Hawk or a Huey that showed up and dropped supplies, dropped people, picked you up, got you out of Dodge? That's a good sound. Just don't look at us as giving you help. Look at us as dropping you a care package that, maybe you're getting some support right now, and then maybe on the next one, you could be on the next chopper to drop supplies. We're trained to be, prideful. The other problem is that when we're in the military, we're trained there's only two kinds of people, and correct me if I'm wrong, but there's combat, there's friendlies, right?
Yeah.
You know who they are. We all wore the right uniform, and then there's enemies. And when you didn't know who to trust, you trust nobody. So we're just trained to bunker down. It's contrarian to our training is to go out there and try to engage and reach out and things of that fashion. We hear this over and over again. So we try to make it easy. And our job is really to try to help. And there's nothing that we won't do for a fellow vet. There's not a bill that we won't look at or won't pay. We always pay directly to the to like the DTE or if we make it a car payment or a house payment, whatever it might be. We don't give money directly to the vets. We might buy them a gift card for Walmart for food to put food on their table, but we want to give them a hand up, not a handout.
Yeah, I think that's important too, because then, as much as we hate to say it, we're three MPs sitting here, so we know this. There are bad folks who would take advantage of it if you didn't do it that way. And we like to think the veterans community is excluded from that, but it's not. So I think that's a better way to do it, paying it directly to the problem place, right? Whoever needs that money, let's get it to them directly. It also reduces stress on that person who's getting the help, right? They don't have to then keep track of this money and then send it out. You're just, hey, we're just going to pay this bill for you. You have nothing else to worry about on it. Great way to do it.
Yeah, exactly. Brandon, you could talk a little bit about that, about how we go about reducing the stressors.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we're about, right? Is providing community, reducing stressors. And, Brian hit the head or the nail on the head when he said offering a hand up. I've been waiting to throw that in there because that's honestly what it comes down to is, we're as veterans are typically used to being the helper rather than being the helpee and receiving the help. And honestly, that's one thing that I've enjoyed about this organization is being able to be so hands-on and give back in those ways, doing the due diligence, and then just really seeing the charismatic responses from those that are being helped when they receive like, hey, there are no strings attached. You just genuinely want to help someone. And they come to us from all different places. I mean, we've gotten calls from other states, but they are typically local. And, it's just, everything's circumstantial, just trying to get them out of a bad situation, reduce those stressors so that they can get back to being a functional member of society, providing their family and, living their best lives. And, like I said, it's awesome to be part of something like that. And we do all different kinds of events. We haven't touched on all of them yet. But the 5K, we have a 5 and 10K that we just got done wrapping up. That was a great, successful day again. Every year it's great. We've got our tip up for troops coming up here. I think that's Brian. What's the date on that? Is that June?
That's the 8th, June 8th. Yeah, we got the professional anglers coming in. And they put a veteran on the boat to kind of go to the stressor thing, right? Idle hands are not good for veterans who have PTSD.
That's a fact.
So even if you know how to fish, that's different. It's fine. But these pros, these guys got boats that are $100,000. I think 70 grand sitting on the motor personally. On some of them, I've seen some of these boats and I'm like, they stand up on end. That's how fast they can get to the fishing hole. But to give you some tips and tricks, right, and get out on the water and just relax, and that's at Kensington. But we've got many different ways that you can participate. If you can't be here, we've got a program that we run. It's called 22 a month. It's Give 22, similar to what you see with a lot of the other organizations. Is do a monthly contribution to us. That makes an enormous difference. Some of our demands are like $500-600, right? That we have to pay out. Some of them are greater. We just took care of a vehicle that they had no vehicle for months. It was sitting there. Two different vehicles we took care of. That one of them was sitting there for months, and he just called me up today, and we made an agreement with him that we'd pay half if he'd pay half, because he made some mistakes in the process, but we didn't just cut him off. We said, let's figure out how we can, make you learn from this process and take ownership of it. And it didn't harm him. We wanted to make sure we were testing that. So
I got a question here in the chat for you, though.
From the financial background that I can dive into that a little bit and give some education and counseling that way.
There's a question in the chat that says, is it only Michigan at the moment? And what's your greatest need? Monthly donations? ? So,
for now, yes, our only chapter would be us located in Michigan at this time, and our greatest need is so far and probably for the foreseeable future is going to be financial donations in any capacity. But like I said, you can rest assured that we've done our due diligence. We make sure that those that are receiving assistance from us are those that qualify, and we require bank statements, their DD-214. And we have an honest conversation with the veteran after they fill out their assessment to really get a good understanding and a whole picture of what's going on, so that we can help where it's going to be the greatest amount of impact. But yeah, donations for certain are going to be the number one that we're in need of for sure.
Right on. So
that one there, we are looking at opening up other locations. We'd love to be able to, because we have a system that works.
Yeah.
We just need to get a core group in another place that we can actually just plug and play into what we do. And our bylaws, we know what works, and it's just plug and play at this point. I'd rather enjoy driving to other states, but now with technology like this, we can do a lot of it this way, and not have to worry. And we may be physically only in Michigan, but we are not bound by that with regards to who we help. We've helped people all across the country. North Carolina, been down to Alabama, helped some people in Alabama, Ohio,
Georgia,
Colorado. So we've helped people in a lot of different states. Most of them have probably stemmed from people that knew about us here in Michigan and went there. But if we can get a core group of guys that are committed to doing the same thing we're doing in North Carolina, as you talked about, or elsewhere, come on, game on. Let's fix the problem.
I want to take that opportunity to talk about another group that's doing something similar. But Al and Linda Erickson in Kalispell, Montana, they run a facility called the Northwest Montana Veterans Food Pantry. And Linda has made it her goal to end veterans homelessness in the Kalispell area. And a lot of you might think, oh, is there a lot of veterans homelessness there? There's lots of veteran homelessness everywhere. And Kalispell, Montana is not a place you want to be a homeless veteran. It gets downright cold there in the wintertime. So she has taken these guys in, worked on trying to get them jobs, got them in jobs programs, got them fed and everything. And one of her success stories, she told me, and every time she tells me, she gets a tear in her eye, is that one guy that she has been servicing for over 2 years with food came to her one morning and he says, Linda, I won't be coming by for lunch anymore. And she goes, well, why not? And he goes, well, I finally decided to get a job and I have an apartment and I won't be living underneath that tree anymore. And you know what? It came from not someone offering a handout, but like you said, a hand up. Hey, man, I'm not going to pay your bills for you, but I will give you lunch, right? And I'll give you some training and some ideas on how you can better your life. And this guy took advantage of it. So although we're talking about Veterans Connected today, take a look at Northwest Montana Veterans Food Pantry. The Ericksons are fantastic folks. Alan's a Vietnam vet. He's having some surgery in the next couple of weeks, so we could probably use some prayers. But I just think that we need to help each other. We know what each other are going through. And a lot of folks can't really relate to the issues we've had, right? It's a very unique and personal thing that veterans are the best to help other veterans. That's just the way it is.
And we really need to do a lot. And we focus on collaborating with other organizations. In 2020, we were flush with cash. And there was organizations that were running dinners and ran. They didn't have the money to keep the lights on.
Yeah.
And we stepped in and wrote them checks so they could pay. They fed like 400 people for the holidays. So we really we don't want to be everything to everybody. I mean, the one thing that we do really, really well is we got a great medical closet that we have. We've got probably $300,000 worth of medical equipment that we have a put and take closet. But we are that last place that they can go. But we're going to absolutely use the other organizations in the area and other resources before us. And we want to work as a collaborative thing and not a prideful thing. This isn't about us. This is about who we're serving. And to me, I'm serving a little bit higher power than the military or us or even the country. So I serve one God and a wife. So that to me is really, really great. And we really appreciate you, Joe. Look forward to seeing you out there on the Ruck. We're doing the 8 mile this time just for you. We're going to do it on Mount Brighton. So
always great. The Mount Brighton part's always my favorite part. And Brandon's always standing right beside me with a megaphone. Tighten it up because he's helping.
Well, what we didn't talk about was the military mile, and I invite anybody to come out that day. That's the Detroit Free Press Marathon, Lafayette Boulevard. We have a ball out there. I mean, we get up at 0400. The O is for, oh my God, it's early. And we're out there. We take we put a whole mile of stuff up, and Brandon has a ball at that thing. I stand at the top of the hill as you're running your 18th mile and act like a drill sergeant. I have a ball yelling at you to get up my hill. We don't lob any claymores or anything. So
there's an Air Force guy going 0400 in the morning.
What's that?
There's an Air Force guy somewhere going 0400 like in the morning.
In the morning.
Yeah, dude.
He'll have to use his mouse to look and see what that really means. I mean, come on out and join us, man. Fill that mile up. We got an entire mile on Lafayette Boulevard that we fill up with any and every veteran organization or piece of equipment that you can put on it. And we have a flat out ball. And I'll let Brandon tell you a little about his experience with it.
I love the military mile. We've tried different things. We've tried Charity Village. But honestly, my favorite part is just being on that mile. We're the full marathon hits us twice, and we are the turnaround for the U.S. half marathon. I think we're the only international marathon that in the United States, because it goes through Canada. I think that's accurate.
Yeah.
But we are always looking for volunteers. So if you are someone that looks to be active, we need people in the cheering section. We have 2 different water stations that we got. There's a medical tent on our mile. If you or someone that has military equipment, we would love to present that, because they actually came to us. The Detroit Free Press International Marathon Committee came to us and said that, hey, we are looking for an organization to represent the military in all capacities, and we thought that you'd be great for the job. And as soon as they presented, we're like, okay, let's figure it out.
Right.
Because it's a great opportunity. I mean, literally, we spread hope, love, and kindness and compassion, and to be out there cheering people on. And when the runners are seeing, active duty in their uniforms and the military vehicles, and we have a giant, a 30 by 60 foot flag, garrison flag, and that thing is sweet, and it gets some attention. We got 2 bucket trucks that hoist that thing up as you're running under it. It comes up the hill, the light hits it perfectly, and you're just running through freedom, guys. And it's really cool to be part of. But like I said, when the runners are going and they see all the active duty military personnel, or just even those that are on the mile, they're thanking us for our service, as they're the ones going through, hell, running 26 miles.
Right.
It's just really cool. The cheering sections, the squads, being out there and having conversations with all of the volunteers, getting to know people on a different basis as we move from, location to location. It's awesome. And we hijacked a golf cart last year, and we had some fun with that thing. And but yeah, just the attitude.
Acquired. Tactically acquired.
Acquired. Yeah. Forgive me. Absolutely.
We were driving through, and one of the police officers saw us and just
kind of looked at us and looked the other way.
Yeah, I don't even know what's going on right now. Yeah.
That's right. But it was another one of those days where there was a lot going on, and everyone banded together and made it happen. I think that we show up at 5 o'clock. We show up at 5 and we're hoisting that flag. I mean, by this time, we've got it down to a science. We use it for every event. But yeah, just if you're a volunteer and you're looking to volunteer, that's a great one to be part of.
Absolutely.
They give us jackets and all kinds of fun swag to be out there and cheer them on. But absolutely, if you're looking to volunteer, if you got military vehicles, equipment, or if you have suggestions you'd like to donate, I think Gordon Foods donated money for that event for us last year. And again, that went a long way with food. So it's always a group effort in what we do. We're constantly reaching out to others to try and create the largest impact for whatever event or individual it is that we're trying to help or be part of. And more hands make light work. So
absolutely.
And I can't stress. I mean, there's Benevity, which a lot of corporations have, where you can donate part out of and the companies will match that.
Mm-hmm.
You have that at Lear, you have that at many other companies. Honeywell has it as well, where you could donate a part of your proceeds or your paycheck, and then that corporation will match that as well. We can't do what we do without the incredible charity from and giving hearts of the community, and the trust that they put on us. Yeah. That we say, okay, look, man, we'll crack your books open anytime to let you look at them. I don't care. The only thing I care about is let's go make an impact. Let's make a difference, and let's fix the problem. We can't. And look, man, we were in the service. We know that the government can't fix the problem, right? But we sure as hell can.
And look, who better than 3 MPs to get on the job, right? I mean, we'll make this happen.
That's right.
But so, I wanted to ask you guys. My wife and I are heavily involved with the 4-Star 4 Mile on Veterans Day in Detroit. It's usually the Sunday before Veterans Day, and the Veterans Day parade happens there. What are your thoughts about trying to get a team of guys to represent Veterans Connected down there?
Oh, they run 4 miles?
Run 4 miles or walk. I throw on a backpack and ruck it. I mean,
physically?
Yeah. Yeah, you don't have to run. We'll walk. You and I, having been in the military in the 80s.
We have a team right now that we have for the marathon that are running for us. I think right now we're up to about a dozen people that are running. We got one guy, Joe, that he's run now it'll be multiple years and multiple events. So if we can put a team together, absolutely. And I'll be more than happy to do it virtually.
Yeah. I don't have a problem being on ground. I like that stuff.
Listen, if Brandon comes and runs it, I will run beside him with a megaphone shouting at him the whole way.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, you're going to be on a hoverboard, man.
Let's go.
Well, I'll ride a bike next to him. So.
The electric bike, but the corner will be too short.
You are the driver, because we're right in the middle of the pack on the 8 mile, and when we start slogging on mile 6 or 7, you're right there with the megaphone. Tighten it up. Tighten it up. Lane.
Let's go. We got work to do. That's a fact.
Yeah. Prior to my knees getting destroyed in the military, I was a pretty gifted runner.
Yeah.
But that stuff ended a long time ago.
Yeah, the last run I did was a beer run. I mean, I'll just be honest. So.
Fair. That's fair.
Yeah, I remember a few times coming out in PT and the sergeants saying that it smelled like a brewery. I don't know why.
I'll be honest. I didn't know about your guys' 5K at Mount Brighton, and we had registered for a 5K Armed Forces Day 1 down in Toledo. I was like, if I'd have known. Way shorter drive out to Brighton.
Sure.
Especially since I had to go that day from Toledo out to Livingston County anyway for the Second Amendment Foundation event. But
come on out, Joe, and afterwards we'll go break some bread, man. We got the Texas Roadhouse is an enormously generous sponsor to us. We love those people. You come out next time you want to run. You come out. I'll take you to lunch afterwards.
Absolutely. Oh, and this guy here, USMC County OE 91, Todd, you will have two new knees by then. So you are doing an 8-miler with me and Mike and Chris. So and if need be, we'll put you in a van, but you're coming and doing it with us, brother.
Speaking of the 8-miler, do you mind if I speak on the Ruck real quick?
No, I would love you to. Yes.
Awesome. I want to mention what the Ruck to Live initiative is all about. We raise awareness for mental health and suicide prevention. It started off for veteran suicide prevention. And as Brian had spoke earlier, it is abundantly clear that it is not a veteran-only issue. Suicide affects everybody of all ages, and the hurt is real after they're gone. You spoke earlier about the Boone family, mile 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And what you may not know, or what many people may not know, is that their daughter, their sister, right? The sister actually committed suicide as well. Oh. So within 1 year, that mother and father had lost 3 children. And I'm not going to lie to you. That was a crazy phone call. And having the conversation with the father who wasn't able to be there that day. Hanging out with the mom, it's really eye-opening to see the lasting impacts that something like that can have on people. Me personally, I've lost 4 friends to suicide, 3 of them in a matter of 3 months in 2020. And it really, really hits home, but you have people there that are always supportive. As soon as we've all, like you mentioned, we've all found ourselves at our low points. Right. And thankfully I had someone to come and pick me up at my low point, drove from Kentucky overnight, showed up at my house, knocked on the door, and I opened it, and there he was. And he's exactly who I needed in that moment. And he showed up because he understands, he cares. He's my battle buddy from Iraq. We all need hope. We all need support. And, it's crazy to think that a lot of us are almost statistics. Right. But thankfully, what we're doing with this is that we're encouraging people to get help. We're providing resources. We're bringing people together within the community. We're advocating for mental health support for people that are struggling with these issues. And we are encouraging everybody to talk, to speak up, just hoping that people will continue to push and choose life in the end. That's our why. That's the reason that we do it. And last year it was awesome because we had the opportunity to have a 1-mile patriotic walk, which we would really like to emphasize this year, and maybe get kids involved, get the schools involved, and have them start showing up and educate them on exactly what our flag stands for, what the stripes mean, what the stars represent. We have the Pledge of Allegiance on one side. They're all on the the yard signs. As you go down and you're walking your miles, you're going to see different patriotic signs, and they draw questions, right? They start engaging in conversations about patriotism, and that's really cool to see when you have the families coming back saying, it was awesome watching my son or my daughter asking questions about this or that, the different branches of the military and what they all do. It's really cool, and it goes down the sidewalk of Grand River and then through the Mill Pond and back around. Our 8-mile ruck, we've kind of changed. It's evolved, right? We found out what's working and what's not working. There was the first year where we started out, and all the proceeds from that had gone to our reboot project, right? Operation Reboot. Is that what it's called, Ryan? Operation Reboot? Right.
Reboot Recovery.
Reboot Recovery. And again, there's three different phases of it, but it's about it's mental health. It's combat trauma, civilian trauma. I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank on the last one, Brian. But basically, it's another program and an avenue to help with mental health, which again is what it's all about. The second year, we tried a big to-do downtown Brighton, closed down Main Street, and we had car crushers there. It was awesome. It was called Break the Stigma. So we're out there, right?
I remember that.
Yeah, remember that? So we were writing, feelings, things that we identify with, whether, there's a lot of it should have been me. Why am I still here? Or I'm not worthy. All of these negative, I suppose, cliches that we lied to ourselves about. We're all loved, and we all have a purpose in this life. And if you don't know what it is yet, that's totally fine. But you are meant for more, and you are worthy of life. And to see everyone on the street just go crazy when the machine crushed those cars, it was pretty moving. And then following the year, we realized, not everyone stuck around. So maybe we focus on, what the mile markers, and make it more symbolic, I suppose. And so that's what we focused on last year, and it was great. We had a great response from the community. We're growing, and
I really enjoy the ceremony at the end. I wish more people would stick around.
Right. And the ceremony is great. And then we provide a simple lunch, and still got
always a good lunch. I'm always about the free food.
I'm always, and we had Whisk and Ivy there, and the food is always amazing from Whisk and Ivy. So
they'll be here again this year. They'll be here again this year.
That's what I'm talking about. But
we got some great food lined up for you again this year. So, it is a very, very powerful thing. That Ruck. By the way, Reboot Recovery was founded at Fort Campbell, Kentucky. The third one there was actually first responders. That they have a program for first responders, combat, and then they have a civilian one as well for trauma. It's a great program nationally. It's all over the country. I want to say that Marine, you say Connie, it says Kaneohe 91. I was at Fort Shafter, man. So as an MP, I arrested some guys from Kaneohe. So don't know if it was you or not, but Kaneohe was a military installation there on Oahu, and we'd have some Marines in the NCO club periodically.
That's all right. Todd joined the state police when he got back, so he might have returned the favor at a later point. So,
but you know what? It's when you have somebody, a brother, sister, put the uniform on, or even in that particular time, you got family members that are looking at you and saying thank you, because they're starting the healing process. And some of them have been quite a while before they actually were able to. That's tough. That's really tough to stand there and talk about your loved one. Everyone's focused on you, and you're telling the story of your loved one, how they ended their lives, and the pieces that were picked up, and what was left behind. But you know what? That's how you heal.
It is.
And that goes to our mantra, which is together we heal. We're all broken at different levels. I'm a screw up that grew up. So, we all came out, and we all came out with different experiences. And I use the phrase all the time: different beach, same sand.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course, you having been stationed in Hawaii, you can say that. The rest of us didn't get cool stations like that. So as we're closing out, I want to tell a funny story. The Camp Lejeune commercials that are everywhere, right? So I was a Marine military policeman at Camp Lejeune. So one morning, my wife gets this text message, and your phone always shortens the text message, like the first two lines, right? And it says, "Dear Allison, if your last name is Dolio, you might be entitled to compensation." And it didn't go into the rest of it. She's like, "God, that's true." But it was one of those Camp Lejeune things. But
remind me sometime, tell you a story about 3 MPs and three Army and 3 Marine MPs. That was very funny.
So I'm old enough as a Marine MP that I didn't go to Fort Leonard Wood. I went to Lackland Air Force Base for training, which I will say the Chair Force boys know how to do a chow hall. That's all I can say. The best chow hall I've ever been in.
It's fair.
We give them a lot of crap, but they return fire by saying, "Y'all are just jealous." And I'm like, yep.
This is true. That's 100% factual. You know what? We might make fun of the other services, but we want to allow other people to do it. It is kind of our thing. Like, we all make fun of the Puddle Pirates and the Chair Force and, you know, whatever else, but we love each other too. So we're going to take care of each other. Absolutely.
Yeah, we love the crayon eaters.
Hey, I literally have this patch right here about eating crayons. And my buddy who makes my patches, that logo up there, he's also a former Marine. So every time he sends me an order of patches, he drops edible crayons in with the patches. So
I was about to tell you about that. They come in chocolate. They say Marine tested, child approved.
This is true. This is true.
Oh,
all right.
boy.
Well, hey, guys, it's been an hour. I really appreciate you guys coming on here. For everyone else, check them out, veteransconnected.org. Make a donation, sign up for one of their events, come out and do things. They put on a fantastic charity dinner. Great thing to come and hang out at. We had a great time, a good comedy show, great food, great camaraderie. Come to any of their events and just spend time with each other. That's one of the biggest things we can do. And as I say every time, you guys hear me say it on everything I'm on, don't give out hotline numbers. Call your people. They'll talk to you before they'll talk to a random person on a hotline. Yeah. Call your people. Take care of each other. Thank you guys for being here. I look forward to having you guys back, and we'll chat again backstage for just a minute. Everyone else, thank you for watching. Please donate to veteransconnected.org.
Thank you, Joe.
Thanks, Joe.
Yeah.